Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Saudi Arabia comes at a time of great flux in the geopolitical order. The world in general and West Asia in particular is suffering from conflicts made worse by economic tensions. India and Saudi Arabia are the two fastest growing economies in the world today. As members of the Global South and the G20, they have it in them to influence global outcomes. Remarkably, both Prime Minister Modi and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman are on good terms with Trump, Putin and Zelensky. While India has built strong ties with Israel, Saudi Arabia normalized its relations with Iran in 2023. Prime Minister Modi is the first Indian leader in more than 4 decades to visit Jeddah. All his previous visits have been to Riyadh. Indira Gandhi was the last Indian Prime Minister to visit Jeddah in the year 1982. Now, Jeddah is Saudi Arabia's second largest city after Riyadh. It's located along the Red Sea coast in the Hejaz region. Jeddah is the commercial center of Saudi Arabia and the gateway to Mecca and Medina, the holiest cities in Islam. Prime Minister Modi enjoys a personal rapport with Crown Prince Salman, who is also the kingdom's Prime Minister.
He himself has an excellent relationship with the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman, who has also visited India. Prime Minister Modi has been there, and his next visit is likely to further enrich the ties that we have.
The two leaders have met 7 times before 2025. They last met at the G20 summit hosted by New Delhi in September 2023. The Saudi leader took part in the launch of the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor on the margins of the summit. The corridor promises to be a transformative initiative for trade, infrastructure and energy cooperation across Asia and Europe. Prime Minister Modi's visit takes place 70 years after King Saud became the first Saudi royal to visit India in 1955. King Abdullah's visit to India in 2006 was a watershed moment in bilateral relations. Since then, the relationship has evolved into a strategic partnership. Now, Prime Minister Modi's maiden visit to Saudi Arabia was in 2016 when he received the kingdom's highest civilian award, the King Abdulaziz Sash. It was the first of 22 foreign honours bestowed on Prime Minister Modi since he came to power in 2014. The year 2019 saw Crown Prince Salman visit India in February and Prime Minister Modi pay a reciprocal visit in October. That year, both countries set up what is known as the Strategic Partnership Council to steer the relationship in a new direction. The pace of other bilateral engagements has picked up too. Since January 2024 alone, there have been 11 ministerial visits from India to Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia is home to a large Indian diaspora. 3 million Indian nationals live and work in the kingdom. Bilateral trade stands at $43 billion. The balance of trade favors Saudi Arabia as India imports 3 times more from the kingdom than it exports to it. Saudi Arabia is India's 5th largest trade partner and the 3rd biggest source of oil and LPG. The kingdom accounts for 18% of India's oil imports. For Saudi Arabia, India is its 2nd largest trade partner. The India-Saudi Arabia relationship has expanded to defense cooperation. The first defense ministerial visit from India to Saudi Arabia in 12 years took place in 2024. Both countries have held the maiden army exercise codenamed Sada Tanseek 1 in 2024 and 2 editions of the Al Mohid Al Hind naval exercise. India's ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Sohail Ejaz Khan, places the kingdom at the top of India's trusted defense partners. Saudi Arabia has expressed an interest in sharing localized defense technologies and ramping up joint ventures. With Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 targeting 50% localization of defense spending and India's Make in India campaign gaining momentum, both sides are eyeing synergies in defense production. Recently, Saudi Arabia signed a $250 million deal with Munitions India Limited. On the cultural front, India was the guest of honor at the 2018 Janadriya festival held in Saudi Arabia. Yoga has gained popularity in the kingdom. Yoga exponent Nauf Al-Marwai was awarded the Padma Shri, India's fourth highest civilian award in 2018.
See, our relationship with Saudi Arabia is one of the strongest relationships with West Asia. It is a comprehensive strategic partnership where we collaborate in bilateral, in regional and multilateral domains across the whole spectrum of the relationship.
A little-known facet of the India-Saudi Arabia relationship is the role they played in stabilizing the situation in West Asia. In March 2018, Saudi Arabia opened its airspace for the first time to a commercial flight bound for Israel. It was unprecedented because Riyadh and Tel Aviv do not have diplomatic relations. The airline chosen for this historic breakthrough was Air India, the erstwhile flag carrier of India. An Air India flight took off from New Delhi. It flew non-stop over Oman, Saudi Arabia and Jordan to reach Israel. And that ended a 70-year-old ban on planes flying to or from Israel over Saudi Arabia's airspace. Air India flew over Saudi Arabia at 40,000 feet for about 3 hours, coming within 60 kilometers of its capital, Riyadh. It crossed over into Jordan, then the occupied West Bank, before landing in Tel Aviv. The flight was the result or culmination of a behind-the-scenes activity among India, Saudi Arabia and Israel.